Heartland Season 19 Episode 10 is about to hit harder than anyone expected. Because everything Amy thought she healed from is coming back for her in the most terrifying way. And this time, the danger isn't just close, it's standing right in front of the man she loves. Season 19's finale doesn't ease you in for even a second. It throws you straight into the kind of tension that makes your stomach twist. Because right from the opening moments, you can feel something is off at Heartland. Everything that happened with the Rustlers in Episode 9 has basically set a match to a pile of dry wood, and now Episode 10 lights that thing on fire. Jack, Lou, and Nathan riding out with nothing but a direction and a plate number already felt risky. But Episode 10 wastes no time reminding us that when Heartland characters go looking for trouble, trouble usually finds them first, and honestly, this time it hits different. It feels heavier, darker, like the danger is not just another ranch problem but something that could change everything for the family. The first thing you notice is the silence, that weird, uneasy kind of quiet that usually means a storm is about to break. Lou keeps checking the GPS location Lisa's pie gave them. Jack keeps scanning the tree lines like he's ready to fight the entire world barehanded. And Nathan, well, Nathan is trying hard to stay calm. You can tell he's doing that thing where he pretends he's okay. But his eyes say he's already imagining what could go wrong, and you can't blame him. Because the thought that one wrong move could cost him everything he finally started building with Amy? That fear doesn't just sit in the background. It follows him like a shadow. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Amy is trying to focus on Gracie's horse. But if you've watched her long enough, you know she feels things before they happen. There's this moment where she pauses, almost like she felt the same fear we saw in Nathan's face a few scenes earlier. Lindy tries to pull her out of it, asking if they can check Marion's journals again. But Amy's mind is already drifting. It's that instinct, the same one Marion had, that something is about to go wrong. But the real pressure starts building when Jack, Lou, and Nathan reach an area where the trail camera footage supposedly pinged last. There's a broken piece of fence, fresh tire marks, and boot prints that look way too recent for comfort. Lou tries calling the officer from Episode 9 again, and once again he's useless. This time he doesn't even pick up, and the thing is, when the cops go silent on Heartland, it's never a coincidence. It always means someone's protecting someone. And that alone is enough to set Jack off. He gets that look, the one that usually means someone's about to regret messing with his family. But then the real twist hits. Nathan spots movement deeper in the trees. It's quick, just a flash, but enough to make all three of them freeze. They move closer, slow and careful, like they're walking into a trap, and honestly, that's exactly what it feels like, because the rustlers weren't hiding, they were waiting. And the second Jack steps out into the clearing, someone fires a warning shot into the air. Lou jumps, Nathan flinches, and Jack just stands there like he's ready to drag every single one of them back to the authorities by hand. Back at Heartland, the tension is rising too. Gracie shows up again, this time looking more rattled than usual. She and Amy were supposed to continue the training breakthrough they had in Episode 9. But Gracie is distracted, angry even. She tells Amy she heard what happened with the rustlers and that Nathan went with Jack and Lou. And for a moment, you see pure fear flash across Amy's face. She tries to hide it, but we know Amy. She doesn't do panic unless it's bad, and this feels bad. Lindy, trying to help in her little brave way, asks if they should call. But Amy shakes her head, saying Jack knows what he's doing, except the way she says it. It's not confidence, it's hope, and when Amy starts hoping instead of trusting, you know something is wrong. Then things get worse. Gracie's horse suddenly refuses to settle, pacing, spooking, acting like it senses the same tension in the air that everyone else does. Amy tries calming it down, but the animal isn't reacting like normal. It feels chaotic, restless, and the crazy part, it mirrors exactly what's happening out there with Jack and the others. It's almost symbolic, Heartland's peace slipping out of their hands piece by piece. Back in the woods, the confrontation with the rustlers escalates fast. Jack tries to reason with them, telling them they're only making things harder for themselves. But these aren't the desperate thieves we expected. These guys look organized. One of them even taunts Jack by name, which sends chills down Nathan's spine because that means they've been watching the ranch far longer than anyone realized. Lou steps forward, demanding they return the stolen cattle, but before anyone can respond, one rustler notices Nathan reaching for his radio and fires another shot, this time much closer. And right there, everything shifts. Nathan pushes Lou out of the way before she gets hit, but he ends up slipping on uneven ground, tumbling down a small embankment. Jack yells his name, and for a split second, all you see is Nathan disappearing out of sight. Lou screams, the rustlers disappear into the trees like ghosts, and Jack rushes forward like he's about to jump after him. And that's where the fear really kicks in because Amy's instinct was right. Something bad was coming. And now the question hanging over episode 10 is simple, terrifying, and impossible to ignore. What happens if the man Amy finally opened her heart to doesn't make it back? The moment Nathan falls, everything changes. Jack scrambles down the embankment like a man half his age, shouting Nathan's name while Lou stands frozen above. One hand over her mouth, the other shaking so badly she can't even grab her phone. And honestly, that reaction alone tells you everything. This wasn't a simple slip. This was one of those falls that knocks the air out of everyone watching. When Jack finally reaches him, Nathan is lying still, eyes shut, dust and dirt on his jacket, and for one terrifying second Jack actually thinks the worst. You can see it in his face, that fear hits him harder than anything the rustlers have ever done. Because Nathan isn't just some random ranch hand anymore, he's family, he's the man Amy loves. Lou scrambles down after them, slipping the whole way, yelling at Nathan to wake up. Jack checks his pulse and finally breathes again when he feels it, but it's weak, unsteady. Like Nathan's body is trying to hang on through sheer stubbornness. Lou tries calling for help, but the moment she lifts her phone, she realizes they're in a dead zone. No signal, no backup. Just the three of them in the middle of nowhere with rustlers nearby who clearly didn't care if someone got hurt. Or worse. Meanwhile, back at Heartland, Amy is pacing around the barn in a way she hasn't done in years. That nervous energy. The kind she only gets when her heart knows something is wrong before her mind figures it out. Lindy keeps asking if they should call Jack again. But Amy doesn't want to bother him, that's what she tells her daughter. But we know the truth. She doesn't call because she's scared of what she might hear on the other end. Every minute that passes feels heavier, louder, like the whole ranch is holding its breath. Gracie tries to distract Amy by talking about the horse again. How maybe they can pick up where they left off, but Amy barely hears her. She keeps glancing toward the road, toward the hills, toward anything that might tell her Nathan is okay. And at one point, she whispers he should have called by now. That quiet little line says everything about how much she cares. And how terrified she is of losing someone again, back in the woods. Jack and Lou manage to get Nathan sitting up, but he's clearly in pain. He tries to stand and almost collapses again. Lou catches him, her voice shaking as she insists they need to get him to a hospital, but Jack looks around the thick trees, listening. The rustlers are still out there, you can hear dried branches cracking under their boots. The last thing Jack wants is to move deeper into this mess with an injured man who can barely stay on his feet, but staying where they are is even worse. Those rustlers already proved they're willing to shoot. Jack makes a decision, the kind of decision only someone like him can make. They're going to carry Nathan out, Lou argues, saying it's impossible, but Jack snaps back, we're not leaving him, and that's that. They lift Nathan between them, each taking one side, and start moving through the woods, every step slow and shaky. Nathan keeps drifting in and out, mumbling Amy's name at one point, which nearly breaks Lou because she knows exactly who Amy has already lost. And how losing Nathan would destroy her dot at the ranch. That same tension is building like a storm cloud. Lisa arrives and instantly notices Amy's worried expression. Amy tries to hide it, saying she's fine, but Lisa has known her long enough to see through it. She tries calling Jack herself, but gets nothing. That's when Amy finally says out loud what she's been thinking this whole time, something's wrong. She doesn't say it dramatically, she says it quietly, almost like she's admitting it to herself. And the room goes still. Then, out of nowhere, Gracie's horse starts acting up again. Harder this time, it kicks the stall, snorts wildly, and pulls back like it's trying to escape some invisible threat. Amy goes to calm it down, but the minute she touches the horse, she freezes. It's sweating, trembling, eyes wide, and Amy whispers. It's fear, the same kind of fear she felt the day she lost Ty. The same kind of fear she felt hours earlier when she sensed something was wrong, back in the woods. Jack and Lou are getting closer to the trail when they suddenly hear voices, not rustlers, but officers. Real backup. Finally, a wave of relief hits all three of them at once. They shout for help, and within seconds, 2 officers run toward them. But here's the twist. One of the officers is the same man who refused to help them earlier. The man who protected his suspects, and the moment Jack sees him, his entire expression changes. That frustration he's been carrying finally erupts. He demands to know why they never responded. Why they knew who the rustlers were and still did nothing, and the officer, clearly rattled, explains he didn't want to escalate things, that he thought confronting the rustlers might make things worse. Jack steps forward, eyes cold, voice low, and says something that stops the officer dead, worse than him dying. Lou has to pull Jack back before he makes a bad situation worse. The officers check Nathan, and they immediately call for an ambulance. Lou finally gets a signal and texts Amy that they found him. but she doesn't explain what condition he's in. She can't, not yet. She doesn't have the strength to type those words. Amy reads the message, her heart dropping into her stomach. She knows something is wrong because if Nathan were fine, Lou would have said it. Amy grabs her jacket and tells Lindy they need to get to the clinic now. Amy drives toward the clinic like the road itself is disappearing under her tires. She keeps glancing at her phone, waiting for another message from Lou, but nothing comes. And that silence is the worst part. It feels heavy, like the universe is intentionally keeping her in the dark for a reason she isn't ready to face. Lindy sits beside her, gripping the seatbelt, trying to be brave, but every few seconds she looks at her mom with worried eyes. And Amy keeps forcing a smile she doesn't feel, whispering, "He's gonna be okay." But her voice cracks on the last word, because she remembers saying the same thing years ago, and life didn't keep that promise. Meanwhile, the ambulance carrying Nathan rushes through town. Lou rides with him, one hand on his arm, trying to hold him steady as the paramedics work. Nathan keeps drifting in and out, mumbling things they can't understand. And every time he slips unconscious, Lou panics. She keeps telling the paramedics that Amy is on her way, that they have to keep him awake, that she can't let Amy lose someone else. You can tell she's trying to be strong, but her hands won't stop shaking. At the same time, Jack follows behind in his truck. He's gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turn white, and for once, he's not angry. He's scared, the kind of fear he doesn't admit out loud. The kind of fear that makes him rethink every decision he made that day, because deep down, Jack knows Nathan fell protecting Lou. That guilt sits in his chest like a weight. When they reach the clinic, everything happens fast. Nurses rush Nathan inside. Lou hovers by the doors and Jack tries to calm her down. But then Amy's truck screeches into the parking lot, and she jumps out before the engine even fully stops. The second she sees Lou's face, her whole world tilts. Lou tries to explain, but she can't get the words out. All she manages is, "He's inside, they're working on him." And that's all Amy needs to hear. She pushes through the doors, heart pounding. Inside, the clinic is buzzing with tension. Nurses moving quickly, voices low, machines beeping, and then there's Nathan lying on the bed, pale and barely conscious. Amy stops in the doorway for a second. Like the sight hits her so hard she physically can't move. Lindy grabs her hand, whispering, "Mom," and that finally snaps Amy back. She rushes to Nathan's side, brushing the dirt from his forehead, whispering his name, and for a moment he actually responds. His eyes flutter and he tries to smile, but the pain is too much. He whispers, "I'm okay, I'm here," but he doesn't sound okay. He sounds like he's trying to convince her of something he isn't sure of himself. Amy's eyes fill instantly, but she forces herself not to lose it. She remembers what heartbreak feels like. She knows what grief can do, and she refuses to let that fear take over again. Meanwhile, Jack and Lou talk to the doctor, who explains that Nathan may have internal injuries. They're running scans, checking for bleeding, and trying to stabilize him. Lou's voice cracks when she asks if he'll be okay, but the doctor doesn't give a straight answer. He just says, "We're doing everything we can," and honestly, that answer is never a good sign. Back inside the room, Amy sits beside Nathan, holding his hand tightly like she's afraid he'll slip away if she lets go for even a second. Lindy stands on the other side, watching with wide, worried eyes. Amy tries to keep her voice steady as she tells Nathan he should have stayed safe, that he shouldn't have gone out there alone, and Nathan, even half-conscious, whispers something that says everything about who he is. He tells her he'd never let anything happen to her family, that Jack and Lou were in danger, and he wasn't going to stand by and watch. That one line hits Amy harder than anything, because it's exactly the kind of thing Ty would have said. Not in a comparison way, but in a way that shows Nathan is cut from the same kind of loyalty. The kind that runs deep, the kind that terrifies the people who love them because they're always willing to risk everything. Outside the room, Lou finally breaks down. Jack puts a hand on her shoulder, telling her it's not her fault, but Lou shakes her head. She keeps repeating that they shouldn't have gone alone, that she shouldn't have let Nathan come with them. And you can tell she's replaying every moment of that night over and over in her head. Jack doesn't argue because deep down, he knows he feels the same guilt. Back at the ranch, things don't calm down either. News spreads fast. Katie hears from Georgie, who hears from Peter, who instantly tries calling Lou. River and Dex overhear, and suddenly the whole ranch feels like it's buzzing with panic. And in true Heartland fashion, even the animals pick up on the tension. The horses get restless, dogs pace back and forth, and the entire place feels like it's waiting for the next piece of news. And that news finally comes when the doctor steps out of the operating room. Amy stands up instantly, her heart practically stopping in her chest. Everyone gathers around him, Jack, Lou, Lisa, Lindy. The doctor takes a deep breath, and that pause alone feels like a lifetime. He explains that Nathan has a severe concussion, Bruised ribs and internal bleeding they managed to control. He's stable for now. But the next 24 hours are critical. And that word, critical, shatters whatever hope Amy was holding onto like glass. She goes back into the room, sits beside Nathan again, and this time she doesn't try to be strong. She lets herself cry. Quietly, she lays her head beside his hand, whispering that he has to fight, that she needs him, that she can't lose someone else she loves. Her voice cracks on that last word, love, and even though Nathan is unconscious, you can feel the weight of that moment. It's the first time she's admitted it out loud. The night inside the clinic feels endless. Every clock on the wall ticks louder than the last. Every shadow in the hallway stretches long and unsettling. And every breath Amy takes feels heavier than the one before it. She hasn't moved from Nathan's bedside, not even once. Her fingers stay tangled with his, like the warmth of his skin is the only thing anchoring her to the ground. And honestly, the way she watches him, like she's memorizing every inch of his face. You can tell she's reliving every heartbreak she's ever survived. Outside the room, the waiting area is a whirlwind of emotions. Jack sits stiff in his chair, staring at the floor like he's trying to replay the night second by second. Searching for the exact moment it all went wrong, Lisa sits beside him, gently rubbing his back, quietly reminding him that he got Nathan out alive. But Jack doesn't hear her. He only hears the sound of Nathan hitting the ground, the snap of branches, the sickening thud that followed. It's eating at him. Lou can't sit still either. She keeps pacing the hallway, checking her phone over and over even though she knows there are no updates to receive. She keeps muttering that she should have done something different, taken a different trail, waited for the officer, brought more help. And the worst part is that Lou is blaming herself for something nobody could have predicted. But guilt doesn't care about logic. It just latches on and refuses to let go. Then, somewhere near 3 a.m., footsteps echo down the hallway. Amy looks up instantly, heart pounding, expecting the doctor. But instead, it's Peter. He must have driven through the night because he looks exhausted, worried, and completely unprepared for what he's about to walk into. Lou runs straight into his arms, breaking down the second she feels safe enough to let her guard drop. Peter holds her tightly, whispering, "It's okay, I'm here." And honestly, seeing him there, showing up without hesitation, reminds you that the Heartland family never falls apart alone. Inside the room, the monitor next to Nathan beeps steadily, but every time it changes rhythm, Amy's entire body tenses. She wipes her eyes with her sleeve, trying to stay strong because Lindy is sitting in a chair across the room, curled up with a blanket the nurses gave her. She's trying so hard to be brave, but every now and then she looks at Nathan and her eyes fill with fear. Amy walks over, kneels down, and promises they'll go home soon. But even Lindy knows that's not true, not yet. A doctor finally walks in again, and Amy jumps to her feet. He explains that Nathan made it through the night without complications, which is good, very good, but it doesn't mean he's out of danger. His brain needs time, his body needs rest, and the next steps depend on how he responds when he wakes up, if he wakes up. That last part nearly knocks Amy off her feet. After the doctor leaves, Amy returns to Nathan's side. She lifts his hand again, placing it against her cheek, whispering things she once swore she'd never say to another man again. She tells him that he changed her life in ways she didn't expect, that he helped her heal without even trying, that he made the ranch feel safe again. Something she didn't think was possible after Ty, and she says it softly, but with this raw honesty that feels like she's finally letting herself feel things she's been too scared to admit. Hours pass like this, slow, heavy, endless. The sun starts creeping in through the windows, flooding the hallway with the soft morning light. And for the first time all night, things almost feel normal. Jack stands outside with Lisa, drinking terrible hospital coffee. Peter and Lou talk quietly, trying to piece everything together. Lindy finally falls asleep on the couch. The world feels calmer. And then everything changes. Inside the room, Nathan's fingers twitch. Amy gasps. She doesn't move at first, like she thinks her brain is tricking her, but then his hand moves again, slowly, weakly, but enough. She leans forward, whispering his name. At first he doesn't respond, but then, after what feels like forever, his eyelids flutter, his breathing shifts, and finally, his eyes open. He looks around the room, confused and in pain, but alive, and Amy breaks into tears instantly. She laughs and cries all at once, whispering, "You scared me, you really scared me." Nathan tries to speak, but his voice is too weak. So he just smiles, the softest, smallest smile, and lifts his hand slightly, brushing his thumb across hers. Jack, Lou, Lisa, and Peter rush into the room. The relief on their faces is unreal. Lou breaks down again, hugging Amy from behind. Jack clears his throat, pretending he's not emotional, but everyone sees it. Even the doctor cracks a smile when he walks in and sees Nathan awake. But the moment that hits hardest comes when the room finally calms down and Nathan looks at Amy with a clarity he didn't have before. He whispers, "I heard you." Amy freezes. "At the ranch in the woods?" she asks. But Nathan shakes his head. "Here," he whispers, "when you said you needed me, I heard every word." Amy doesn't know what to do. Her breath catches. Her hands tremble. It's the kind of intimate, vulnerable moment that pulls every broken piece of her heart into the open. And then, before she can even respond, Nathan says something that changes everything. "Amy, I love you." He says it softly, carefully, like he's giving her the choice to run or stay. But Amy doesn't run. She doesn't flinch. She just stares at him, tears streaming down her face, and whispers the truth she's been holding back for months. "I love you too." The room goes silent, not uncomfortable, just full of relief, healing, and something that's felt impossible for a long time. But Heartland doesn't let big moments stay peaceful for long. Because just when everything starts falling into place, the officers arrive with a message Jack did not expect. They've identified the rustlers and the man who coordinated everything. The one who knew the gate schedules, the ranch routines, the livestock patterns. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone they trusted, and that's exactly where Section 4 ends, with the truth creeping in like a shadow. Just when the family thought the worst was over. And just when you think Heartland has given you every twist it possibly could. Episode 10 throws one last curveball that hits different. It's that moment where everything slows down for a second. Like the show is reminding you that peace in this world never lasts long. And the way it plays out, not gonna lie, it leaves you with that weird mix of hope and worry at the exact same time. The kind of worry that tells you something bigger is already on the way. Because first off, Amy, the way she steps outside after everything that just happened, taking that long breath like she's trying to collect all the broken pieces and push herself forward again. It's honestly one of those scenes where you can feel what she is feeling without her saying a single word. You can clearly see she's trying to stay strong for everyone. But deep down there's something heavy sitting on her chest. Something she's not ready to talk about yet. And I'm not sure if it's fear or the feeling that she's being pushed into a change she didn't ask for. Whichever it is, it's growing and fast. Then you have Lou, who tells everyone she's fine, but her eyes, they tell a whole different story. The pressure, the choices, the weight of being the strong one all the time, it's starting to get to her. And honestly, the way she kept looking off to the side, like she was thinking ahead to something she hasn't told anyone yet, it feels like she's about to drop a decision that could shake up Heartland way more than anyone expects. Not in a dramatic goodbye forever way, but in a this changes everything kind of way. And I'm telling you right now, whatever she's keeping to herself isn't small. And then there's Katie, still quiet, still pulling away, still carrying some invisible storm that nobody fully understands yet. You can tell she's trying to keep herself together, but the little moments, the hesitation, the distance, the way she avoids eye contact, it's all pointing towards something bigger boiling under the surface. Something she can't outrun forever. And the scariest part, it might explode at the worst possible time. But the real heartstopper of this ending? It's the shot of the ranch, calm, quiet, almost too quiet, like the show is whispering. Enjoy this moment because the storm is closer than you think. And I swear, the longer the camera holds on that scene, the more you feel it. The sense that Heartland Season 19 is just warming up, and Episode 10. It might be the beginning of a shift none of them saw coming. There's this energy, this tension, this quiet little warning hiding underneath everything, like something or someone is about to test them in a way they haven't been tested in years. Maybe relationships will crack, maybe old wounds will reopen, maybe secrets will finally spill out, and naturally, Heartland won't drop all of this at once. They're building something slowly, carefully, and honestly, I'm not surprised. They always know how to keep viewers hooked without showing their cards too early, but one thing is clear, nothing is staying calm for long. And Episode 10 ends with that exact message, a calm before a storm that's already on its way. The kind of storm that changes people, the kind of storm that forces choices, and the kind of storm that will push Heartland into a new chapter whether they're ready or not. So yeah, that's the full breakdown of Heartland Season 19 Episode 10. And if you felt the tension, the shifts, the small details that hint at something bigger coming, trust me, you're not imagining it. Something major is loading up behind the scenes. And whatever happens next, it's gonna hit hard. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want me to cover every new twist, the second it drops, make sure you like the video, comment your predictions, and subscribe because Heartland is just getting started and I've got every update ready for you. Stay tuned.